Hi! In this video I want to show you a really cool game that in my opinion deserves way more attention. This is not a VRChat world, but a standalone game. It is called T for God, and the really cool thing about that game is that in the game you move around in the world by physically walking around in your real life room, in your play space. No sliding around with your stick, like here. And it feels really good. It's not like you only have one room that you're limited to, but it generates rooms in a non-Euclidean way so that you actually have a very big world adapted to your play space where you move around in your play space. And that's so immersive and so cool. If that alone sounds interesting to you already, maybe I recommend you to stop watching the video right here and actually just go and play it yourself, blind, without watching any more info videos about it. There is a free demo available, and to me it has been a really interesting and cool blind experience, exploring the world and discovering the things all on my own without having any previous knowledge beforehand. For the rest of the video I want to show you some really cool and unique concepts of the game, and what makes it so great for me. I will try to only talk about things and show video footage of things that you experience within the first 15 minutes of playing the game. So even if you watch all the way to the end, you won't have big spoilers. But maybe there are a few things that end up being a selling point for you that you actually want to give it a try. Maybe some technical things first. You can play this game with a wired headset, but I would highly recommend you to play it with a wireless headset if you have one. Or if you have a wire, then at least use a pulley system. I've heard that a bunch of people had a really frustrating experience playing with a wire because, well, you move around in your play space a lot, so the more freedom you have in your movement, the better it is. There is a system in the game that avoids tangling up your wire if you play wired, but I cannot really tell you anything about that since I personally played only wireless. There is also a way to play the game with joystick movement if you really have absolutely no play space available anywhere, but if you have a little bit of play space, please use the room scaler option instead of the joystick movement. The game is also compatible with haptic vests like the B-Haptics or the Ovo vest, and it has a lot of settings to customize your own game experience. For example, you can completely disable all enemies altogether, you can make them stronger, you can make them weaker, you can make them spawn more or spawn less often. So you can customize the experience to your liking. So either you walk around in a relaxing and super interesting environment that's super immersive, or you have an action-packed shooter that gives you no minute to breathe. There's also different sorts of guns that you can mix and match yourself together the way you desire them to be. Or you can also use your fists to punch enemies. And maybe also as a side note, all enemies in the games are robots. In fact, even you yourself are a robot. The game has really good voice acting, and even though the graphics are super simple, it really manages to make a great atmosphere with its lighting, and also the sound design is really good and immersive. And it's not just very immersive because of the sound design and the movement, it also does a really good job at keeping its interactions within the world very immersive. It's kind of similar to me for like in Fate of the Earblast in VRChat. You don't have a single laser UI pointing, clicking thingy, but every interaction you do is with a physical touch and movement within the world. No UI that reminds you you're actually playing a VR game. For example, to look at the map in the game, you tap your headset, like a visor, and then you see the map in front of you and also your HP and energy levels. Or if you want to go back to the main menu, you hold both of your hands onto your headset, like you're trying to fall asleep or something. There's also a lot of items and enemies in the game that allow you to physically touch and interact with them. And even though you are actually just in your own, probably relatively small room in real life, the game does a really great job at making the world seem so much bigger and accessible. It does that by adding these big open areas, by having these long corridors that are blocked off, or by having these windows. All of this together makes it a really truly unique and immersive VR experience. The game has a story mode which took me about 20 hours to complete, I think. But it also has tasks, endless mode where you have a lot more freedom to explore the world freely and to learn more about it. And it gives you a couple of tasks and challenges that you can complete. One thing that I have to say annoyed me a little bit is that I managed multiple times to get soft-locked by not having the right equipment with me or by missing something, and then I had to start a completely new run. That was a bit annoying, and there were also a bunch of bugs. But in the end, it's one developer, it's pretty cheap, and it's a really cool experience nonetheless. So overall, if you have a VR headset and if you have just a little bit of play space available anywhere, I can really recommend you to go and try it yourself. As I said, there's a free demo out there that you can just give it a try, and then you can decide to buy the full game. If you're interested in seeing me play the game, I streamed all of it on Twitch and uploaded the VODs to my second archive channel. The link to that is down in the description, so if you want, feel free to check that out. And yeah, that's already it. I hope you enjoyed it. Have you known the game before? Is it something you want to try? Please let me know down in the comments. Comments are always appreciated, and it's very interesting to hear your thoughts. With that, I want to end the video. Thank you all for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and see you next time. Bye bye.